Welcome back, everyone. Dustin here again, Average Guy Hi-Fi. I've got another 3-speaker package to review for you guys. So the reason I like these 3-speaker packages, as you've kind of seen in some of the videos from the Martin Logan to the episode speakers, things like that, is because I'm a huge fan of having 3 matching speakers across the front. So speakers like that, those episodes, or the Klipsch THX Ultra 652s that I have in storage, those are kind of just designed to be exactly the same speakers across the front stage. And I'm a huge fan of that. If you read the forums and things like that, that's kind of the ideal situation. A lot of times center channels are smaller, so they fit inside of TV consoles and things like that. But that's the last speaker you want in your home theater to be the smaller ones. Ideally, if you had like tower speakers, you would have 3 towers across the front. Again, a lot of you have TV stands and that won't work, but to have voice matching, a bigger sound stage, all those type of things, having 3 matching speakers across the front, which brings me to these speakers, which many of you astute viewers out there already know what these are. But this right here is a M&K S-150 THX. So as you guys can see from the cabinet, this is the angled version. So this one, I have the other 2 over there. This one's actually the S-150 AC THX. So that stands for angled center. And as you guys can see, it's got an angle this way, whereas the left and the right speakers are going to be angled the opposite way, kind of towards the main listening position. That way that angle would be pointing towards where your ears are at. Basically, just give it a straighter path towards your ears. So I'll show you that when I go over there and show you guys the review. But this is the center speaker. And many of you, again, kind of know these speakers. These are been around for a long time. They made them in 1995 is when they originally came out. And like Lucas Studios, some of the big recording studios actually use these in their recording studios as their monitors. So to give you an idea, they're just designed to have very accurate reproduction. They are also designed to be used with a subwoofer. The frequency response M&K claims goes down to about 77 hertz. So having a subwoofer carry the low end is a requirement for these type of speakers, but I knew that going in. So what these have is dual 5¼ inch, 5¼ inch kind of a plastic material woofers. They have 3 of these tweeters right here, which are 1-inch fabric dome tweeters. And then those are the foam blocks that kind of everybody knows with M&K speakers right there. Those do a good job from preventing people from poking their fingers in there, but mainly those are waveguides. It just takes the angle of the tweeter and kind of pushes it out a little bit farther if you just had it flush with the cabinet. That's kind of what they when I read up all the literature and everything like that. So here's a back, just has dual binding posts on it. The weird thing that I noticed was this one actually doesn't say AC for angled center, but I was trying to find pictures and I couldn't find any either. So I think they just called them all S-150 THX speakers, and then you can choose the right or the left to add to this speaker. So anyway, that's kind of what I kind of read into it. But these have an impedance of 4 ohms, and the sensitivity rating is 89.5. So I do have them hooked up to a pretty decent quality Marantz MM7055, which is a 150 watt amplifier. And then I also have that amplifier hooked up to my brand new, which I'll do a video on, for the Marantz SR7013, which is kind of the outgoing newest, not the highest end, one step down from the highest end of the Marantz receivers. So they are getting good power, but they are power hungry. These are the type of speakers that really shine. I hooked them up to my little Emotiva mono blocks, which are about double the power of that, a little under double the power of that Marantz receiver. But the main reason I wanted to test them out on those mono blocks is that Marantz isn't rated down to 4 ohms, which these are actually 4 ohm speakers, like I mentioned. So they do like power, just know that going in. But if you give them good, clean power, they're going to make you very happy. These speakers right here, I might be keeping. And again, as you guys know this channel, I bring stuff in, I review it, and then I sell it to get my money back out. And that's kind of what I've been doing. But every once in a while, something will come along and it'll intrigue me so much that I plan on keeping it. And right now, they're overkill for that room that's over there, but eventually I want to do a dedicated theater, and I'm thinking that 3 of these across the front, 2 for the left and right surrounds, and then just a little smaller of the M&K speakers for the rest of the speakers might be a pretty awesome package with some big subwoofers. That's obviously going to be a part of my system as well too. So the center channel is the dimensions are about the same from this speaker to the other speakers. They're just rotation. The orientation of that angle is just different. So the dimensions are about 10.5 inches wide on the center channel. It's about 12.5 inches tall and about 12.5 inches deep, that direction. So it's not a big speaker, but it's not small either. It's not what I would consider a bookshelf. I'd more call it a small monitor than anything. They weigh about 23 pounds. So the MSRP on these speakers was right around $3,200 with the 3 speakers, and I got the 2 matching stands. To be honest, the stands are probably what I'm most impressed about. I mean, they're just incredibly heavy speaker stands, and they're made for these speakers. So they have the angle, you can kind of adjust them a little bit. They have a big solid post where you can hide the wires in them. And they also just bolt right up to the back of these speakers right here. And again, I'll show you that over there. The stands themselves, I looked on the eBay right now. There's 2 listed, I think, for $1,100 for 2 of the stands. So the stands are on their own very expensive. But the MSRP on each of these speakers was right around $800. And then the stands was right around $600. So what that came up to is about $3,000, $3,100, somewhere in that range for an MSRP. And I ended up picking these up for $1,250. I had to drive to Cleellum, which is a couple hours away, but it was a nice drive. Met a gentleman that drove from Ellensburg, so shot him a message. They'd been listed for a while. He wasn't he wasn't going to bend on his price at all, but you know what? His price was fair, so I was more than happy to pay it. I think a lot of times people get caught up in that. They want to win the negotiation. I don't really get caught up in that. If he has something that he knows that he can get this money for, then more power to him if he sticks firm to the price. So that's the way I look at it. It's a free market. So I was happy to pay him the $1,250 for these speakers and got them home, and they've kind of changed things. I might be keeping them, like I mentioned. So let's go over there. We'll play Thor Ragnarok. Again, that's one of my favorite movies to test out home theater speakers. So we'll play a scene from Thor Ragnarok. Then we'll come back over here and I'll give you guys my average guy hi-fi impressions of the speakers, where we go over the different categories and I kind of tell you where they stacked up to the other speakers that I've tested. But again, another hint, they rated very high. They're one of the first speakers to rate up to where they rated. So I just love them. I think they just have a fantastic sound. So I'm not the judge of that. Let's let you guys hear them. And again, I know this is an exact representation. Gene over at Audioholics knows what he's talking about when he says when people make their decisions off of watching YouTube videos on how things sound, they sound totally different listening to them here in my room than they're going to sound on whatever you're playing them through. But I know people like to kind of be able to see the stands, see the speakers in action, also kind of check out the room. I've got a really awesome subwoofer over there that I'll give you a little glimpse of that'll be coming up here shortly. So let's go over there. Let's take a look at these speakers playing. Okay, we've got the 3 M&K speakers all hooked up there. Those 2 subwoofers are not going to be playing, so it's just going to be those 3 speakers. And that SVS subwoofer right there is not going to be playing either. But I will have these surrounds going. And the microphone is in the main listening position. And we're watching Thor Ragnarok in 4K. Here we go.
I'm just a huge fan of the sport. Right, screwed. I know you're in there, Vanna. I'll get you out. I told them we were friends.
right, I hope you guys enjoyed that demo. I also realized that I forgot to show you guys a close-up of the grill, so we'll just do that now. But it's right there. Just has a little THX logo on it, M&K obviously, and then it says Lucasfilm. But now we're on to the Average Guy Hi-Fi scoring section of the video. This is where we go over quality, kind of the overall feel of the cabinets, the woofers, all that type of stuff. And I'm using this, my grading system from all my other experience with the hundreds of speakers I've owned. So we'll go off of quality, we'll go off of sound, we'll go off of the MSRP rating, we'll go off of the looks, and then we also go off of what I paid, and then I give you guys the Average Guy Hi-Fi score at the end. Each category is worth 10 points, 10 being the best. So we'll just jump right into it. From a quality perspective, I gave a 9 out of 10. The cabinets are very dense. They have good bracing. Everything just, it's not going to knock your socks off when it comes to like a looks or put any kind of emphasis on looks at all. Like, you know, they could have made these more expensive by making them a little bit flashier. But again, that's not their model. Reading all the articles and everything I've read about these speakers, these are just diehard people that love good sound, and that's what they focused on, and that's really what they deliver. So, I gave a 9 out of 10 when it comes to quality. Just good quality everything. The tweeters feel nice. The woofers do. The cabinet's sturdy. It's got nice quality binding posts on it. Nice grill. 9 out of 10. We go to sound. I gave them a 9.5 out of 10. This is one of my highest ratings that I've given. I'm trying to be pretty stingy with those 10s. But the sound stage, these speakers, I mean, I said the same thing with the episode speakers that I've reviewed, and also those Klipsch Ultra 2 650s that I have in storage. Those speakers just put out it seems like it's almost a wall of sound. Now, my room is pretty small. It's only about 11.5 feet wide and about 15 feet deep. So the soundstage, it's pretty easy. Plus, I have like a little short wall on the left that kind of keeps everything angled towards the main listening position. So my room's really easy, but I give them a 9.5 out of 10 when it comes to sound because of that sound stage. It just seems like a wall of sound. And if I had a transparent screen or something along those lines, it would even be better. And again, that's the goal eventually. So 9.5 out of 10 when it comes to sound. Just dynamic, detailed, huge sound stage. Everything you want from speakers that you know that you're going to be crossing. These aren't bass heavy. You know, again, down to 77 hertz is about as low as they go. So you will need subwoofers, but if you get these things crossed over correctly, it took me a little bit of dialing in. I ended up having them crossed over with that SVS sub at 90 hertz seemed to be about my sweet spot. But just detailed, huge sound stage. Just love the sound of these speakers. So again, I might be keeping these. The MSRP value, I gave them a 9 out of 10. Again, that's just a very good score when it comes to my grading system. But what they were able to do for around $800, you know, in 1995, $800 was more money. That was 25 years ago, which sounds crazy for me to say, but $800 per speaker would have been a lot more money. It's still a lot of money now to me, but just for the quality and everything, you could spend a lot more money on speakers that don't sound as good as these speakers. So I gave them a 9 out of 10 when it comes to the MSRP. They just, being made in the USA, all of those type of things just really added up, and that's how I gave it such a high score. From a looks department, I gave them a 9 out of 10 as well. I actually love the looks of these speakers, and again, the previous videos that I've made, I like the boxy front three speakers. For whatever reason, they kind of look a little bit more industrial to me. They look substantial enough, you know, they're not hiding, but they make a cool statement, I think, and I like that look, and I like the fact that I know that all three tweeters in each of the three speakers and the dual woofers in each of the front three speakers all match. There's just something about that to me that makes perfect sense. The box volume's the same as the left and right as well, so they have the same frequency response. Everything's the same. You just give them good, clean power, and they'll reward you with a seamless soundstage. That looks department, again, this is going to be very subjective. Some of you aren't going to like the looks of these, but this is my channel, so this is the way I'm reviewing it. 9 out of 10. My price paid, I gave them an 8.5 out of 10. The only reason I didn't rate them at another 9 is because 9's got a little bit repetitive there. I don't want people to think I'm just making these scores up, but I'm really trying to justify these scores, and I have a lot of internal conversation. And if you look at the description, I try to list things out a little bit more, what came into my thought process when I'm reviewing stuff. So I gave an 8.5 out of 10 when it comes to my price paid. There's no doubt about it, $1,250 for 3 of these speakers with the 2 matching stands, which again are listed for $1,000 on eBay. is just a really, really good deal. But I have seen these. I missed out on one. I still kicked myself. A couple years ago, somebody listed a full set of these things. I think it was 5 of the S-150s and the subwoofer for $1,200. And that's one of those deals that just got away from me. So $1,250 for the 3 speakers and the matching stands. Super thrilled about it. I wouldn't use that subwoofer anyway. M&K does make very good subwoofers, but they are getting a little old. The foam surrounds, they're having a little bit more plate amplifiers. I'm just seeing that from the used market and everything, but they're definitely worth repairing because, especially back in the day, in '95, that was one of the top subs. It was like Velodyne and M&K made some of the best performing subs for the price. So nowadays with SVS, PSA, Rhythmic, the list goes on, the subwoofer competitions got pretty steep. So the manufacturers had to kind of sharpen their pencils a little bit. So again, quality standpoint, gave him a 9. Sound, I gave him a 9.5. MSRP, I gave him a 9. The looks, I gave him a 9. And the when it comes down to my price paid, I gave him an 8.5. So that averages out to 45 out of 50, which is 90% average guy hi-fi score. This is one of the few speakers that I've reviewed that actually got up to that 90% category. And again, I like them so much that I'm potentially keeping them. So that's, again, kind of a rundown of these speakers. Who knows? I'm sure I'm going to be getting asked from people to buy these things. That always seems to be what happens, and I might sell them to the right buyer. But right now, I might just be hanging on to them. I'm just enjoying them too much, especially when you got them crossed over with the right subwoofers and everything. And it's just a killer speaker. It's going to serve you very well in home theater. So this is the type of stuff you're into. Please subscribe to my channel. I can't believe it every time I say this, but I'm up to 650 subscribers as of the time I'm putting this video out. And again, the original goal was to hit 1,000 subscribers in a year, and I've hit 1,650 subscribers in about 7 or 8 months, somewhere in that range, when I made my first video and really decided to take this thing seriously. I'm having a good time buying this stuff. I'm having a great time. It's getting a little bit repetitive, getting it all set up and getting it dialed in again and everything like that. But again, I'm a single dude, so I just kind of, with COVID and all that stuff going on, I'm just buying speakers on the side after my job and then working on these channels, these type of videos and stuff for the channel at night. So if you guys are enjoying this, please subscribe. I would love to have you around. Also, feel free to ask me questions. A lot of people are starting to reach out and ask me questions. And if I don't know the answer, I'm not just going to make something up. I'm going to be very accurate with my information that I provide on this channel. If I get something wrong, please let me know. I'll update it. And I'll be, if I don't know something, I'll just tell you, I'm sorry, I just don't know that the answer to that. I won't just say something to appease you. So I'll be very honest with you guys. But a lot of beginners and things like that are asking me questions. I'm having a fun time fielding those questions as well, too. So if you guys stuck around this long, I really appreciate it. Again, my name is Dustin, and the name of the channel is Average Guy Hi-Fi.